Hi there, students. Today I'm going to do a tutorial on how to use Tinkercad. Tinkercad is an online piece of software that you can use to create three-dimensional models. I know you guys have seen the 3D printer in the back of our classroom, and you have all sorts of fantastic ideas of things that you want to 3D print. But how do we get those from ideas into something that we can touch that's made from our 3D printer? The way you do it is in Tinkercad. Tinkercad is one of many 3D modeling software. So what you see here is Tinkercad. So maybe you have an idea. Maybe you want to create a dinosaur-shaped cookie cutter, or maybe you want to create a really cool keychain, key tag for your backpack, or maybe you want to create a bat signal that you could use with your flashlight on your cell phone. All of those things can be made in Tinkercad. So what you see on the screen is the Tinkercad workspace. This blue box is called the work plane. That's what you're going to build on. And it's broken into a grid, and these grid boxes are a centimeter a piece, and then the little tiny lines represent millimeters. And on the left-hand side are tools where you can turn and you can see, you can zoom in, zoom out, and you can see your creation, your 3D model from different angles. And on the right-hand side are the shapes that you are going to use to build your design. Because every model, every 3D model is really a conglomeration of shapes that are put together, three-dimensional shapes that are put together. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So let's just start with a simple shape. I'm going to start with a box. So I click on box and I drag it over to our work plane. And I can set it wherever I want. And there it is. I can change the color of it. Sometimes it doesn't really matter what color you design it in Tinkercad. It depends on what filament is loaded in the 3D printer. That's what it's going to look like when it's all done. But sometimes seeing the shapes in different colors helps you differentiate what shape is which. Alright, so I have a green box. I kind of want to zoom in. Let's look at different ways we can look at this model. So you can use your trackpad, and you can take two fingers on your trackpad and spread them apart to zoom in on the model. I can also hold two fingers down on the trackpad and slide it around so I can see it from different angles. So that's pretty cool. I can see it from below, I can see it from above, I can see my 3D model. If I ever kind of get upside down and I'm not sure where I am, I can always click this house button and it takes me back to the home view. That's a really helpful tool to have. If I wanted to see what it looked like maybe from the front, I can click here and I can see a front view, I can see a bottom view, I can see right, and then front, and then left, and then back. So this moves it around at different angles. And I'm going to click home and go back to the beginning. This will also zoom in and zoom out as well. Alright, so I have my box. Let's pretend I wanted to make a little tray, maybe something to put it in. I can spread my box out. I can make my shape a different shape by using these handles. These little white handles, you can click and drag and it spreads it out. You can also do this in the tool, the shape menu. Like I can change the length by sliding the slider. Or if I know that I want it to be, let's say right now it's 33.42 millimeters, I want it to be just 33, I can type in 33, press enter, and it will change it. So if I know what I want it to be, I can set it that way. I can use this handle in the middle. Right now it's 20 millimeters high. I can make it taller by changing that one as well. All right, so let's just say 20. If I wanted my shape to have rounded edges, this radius tool will give me rounded edges. That's pretty cool, right? All right, now let's take a little look. I'm going to use two fingers on the trackpad and move around. All right, that's a nice little start to my project. Very good. All right, now let's say that a tray it's not solid like that. It has like a hollow place where you put things inside the tray. So I can duplicate this shape. It's selected. I just click on it to select it, and then over here says duplicate and repeat, and I can make another tray. I just duplicated it. So I want to have a spot that's the same shape as the outside of it, but just a little bit smaller. So I'm going to make this just a little bit smaller, and instead of it being a shape, I'm going to make it a hole. Do you see this hole tool? All right, so now it's kind of see-through. So how does that work? I can move this shape on top of this shape and make it a hole. All right, so you might be going, all right, how do we do this? Let's change my camera angle a little bit. This little tool right here, it looks like a triangle. I can use it to lift up, and it lifts it off the work plane. So I'm going to lift this off the work plane. Now you need to be careful when you do this, because if you go and you have a shape that's lifted off the work plane, when you go to print it on the 3D printer, it's not going to print very well. The things on the 3D printer need to be flat on the work plane. All right, but I want this hole, I want to make a hole in this solid shape. So I'm going to move this over, and I might actually make it a little bit smaller, and then I'm going to bring it down into this shape. Let me look at it from the top. Ah, do you see how I'm starting to have a hole? Right now my hole is a little bit off center. So I'm going to move it, and I'm going to make it more centered. Alright, so I've got a hole. It's not quite centered, but maybe I want my tray a little bit off centered. If I want that hole to be there, I have to group these two shapes together. So I have to select both shapes, and I'm just going to click and drag, and you'll see both shapes select. This tool here is called the group tool. When I group a shape and a hole together, it makes it kind of a permanent thing, and then boom. Oh, I might need to adjust this. Let's undo. Undo. I need to adjust my hole a little bit. Oh, it's still on top. Let's make it go down. There we go. And now let's group the two shapes together. And now I have a tray with a hole. I can check it from the bottom and make sure it doesn't go all the way through. I can see it does not go all the way through. And I have a shape with a hole. And those are some of the basic tools. You also can see, let's say maybe I want this hole to be like tilted a little bit. I'm going to ungroup them. I can change these little rotating things. I can rotate my hole. I can rotate my shape just by clicking on them and turning them one way or the other. Maybe I want it really off center. That's cool. I like that. And I'm going to group them together. Now I have a very unique tray where I have the rounded rectangle, and then the hole is at a slightly different angle because I rotated it. All right, that is our tutorial.